Salute. Knicks streets, we're buzzing. Tonight, 4 straight on the bounce. And our New York Knicks are starting to roll at Madison Square Garden. They put the beat down on the Toronto Raptors, 116-94, man. One-way traffic here at holiday season. Happy holidays to everyone out here. Let's get ready to break this thing down with the best chat in the biz. And we are absolutely going to break this thing down and look ahead as the games are coming thick and fast. Holiday season and our New York Knicks, 4 straight. Salute to everyone in the building as Josh Hart was dynamite, just short of a triple-double, but Mikal Bridges absolutely continues to defend like his life depends on it. And our New York Knicks now are in the 2nd seed, right? We overtake the Toronto Raptors now, who take their 7th loss. And are they at 14-7? The Knicks are at 13-6 right now. And of course, we have the NBA Cup to preview and the knockout stage of the quarterfinals. But this one, man, was an offensive onslaught as the Knicks got up by 24 points early in the second quarter. And, you know, as we know, with the 3-point ball, man, anything can happen when you play at a fast pace as well, like we saw in the Boston series last season. And the Toronto Raptors and Emmanuel Quickley and the crew, Scotty Barnes, right, they made a furious comeback. But the New York Knicks led wire to wire. And Josh Hart's performance, right, continues to open eyes. Tyler Kolek gets more comfortable every single game. I thought Yabusele probably had one of his cleanest performances. And let's break it all down. Shez V, Tango in the building. Salute. Kerry Cox. Blessings to everyone out here. We have our poll, tonight's chat, fam. I want to talk about the starting 5 because we have a decision to make, ladies and gentlemen, right? Knicks 4 straight dubs, keep the same starting 5. That is the question, right? Option number 1, Hart stays for Mitch, and OG comes back in for Deuce. Option number 2, keep Deuce in the starting 5 and put Hart as a 6th man. Option number 3 is have Mitch start when OG returns. And 4th, last but not least, man, I'm not fussed as long as the Knicks continue to win. That is a big decision I think we're going to have to make. But right now, I do feel like either or, Deuce or Hart, man, they deserve to continue to start. And it's 4 on the bounce now as Ben Stiller, happy birthday, right? Big time Knicks fan. And Mikal Bridges, man, we're all becoming major fans of Mikal Bridges' season so far, man. He's playing with so much energy, passion, speed, and tempo. But on the defensive side, man, he's back to his best. I'm talking Phoenix Suns. I'm talking Villanova. Whatever, man. Mikal Bridges is playing the best ball of his career right now, man. Have that for 5 first-round draft picks. Right. If he's playing like this, man, we are championship contenders, right? Obviously, we've got a trade deadline to get through and OG to welcome back. Landry Shamet, don't forget, is going to play a part, I think, in this season. We're going to bring you an update on OG Anunoby too, because reports pre-game, Ian Begley and The Beat, Stefan Bondi included, report that OG Anunoby now is taking contact, 3-on-3 contact in practice, right? Ready to make the step up to 5-on-5, ladies and gentlemen. So that is great news that OG ain't too far away. Does look like he'll probably make his return before Christmas, right, with the updates today. But the way Hart's shooting the rock, man, we're getting that extra floor spacing that we weren't getting last season. That's the biggest change I'm seeing, fam. How are you guys seeing it? Above the rim, Salute says, just start Deuce. I like that answer too, man. I can't lie. Johnny Chiba says, good poll. Tough decisions. Yeah. You know, I guess, and the silver lining is, guys, well, you know, the bonus is that, you know, OG's out. But we're missing him defensively, but we're still rolling, and that is the sign of a championship team, right? You can miss one or two guys. If you truly are a championship team, don't matter which guys they are, if you miss one or two guys, it should be business as usual. It should be status quo, right? Look at OKC, Jay Will out. Business as usual for them, right? Obviously, if Jalen Brunson's out, that's I think that changes things drastically. But Brunson coming back, and you put these gritty guys around him that are willing to do everything necessary, and you see the fruits, man, of Leon Rose and the front office guys. Happy holidays to everyone in the building. We're buzzing right now with 4 straight, and obviously we're going to talk about the next game coming up because we have Boston. Right, the Knicks have taken care of this mini homestand and some business on the road as well with Brooklyn and Charlotte. And now we're going to have to get back on the road, try to get our 4th win on the road against Boston, who had a big win tonight, fam. So the Boston Celtics defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? 117 to 115. That was tight. And that's great for the Knicks because Cleveland was obviously closer to the Knicks than the Celtics. And I do think the Celtics will probably drop off, as the season goes along. So we're officially in the 2 seed. Can we get a thumbs up? Smash a like for that one. Subscribe to the channel and give us your buzz. We shout it out. Above the Rim says when a coach gives you confidence. Yeah, that's huge. Great point on Mikal. Michael says, man, I'm keeping Deuce in this lineup, man. He's an assassin right now. Jet Life for life. Salute. Great to see you, everyone. Doug Fresh, Buzzer Beater, New York City Grays. Heart is the heart of the team, says New York City Grays. And whatever's happening, man, he's clicked, right? And you guys are so good, man. You stole the words out of my mouth because 2 guys in the spotlight so far tonight, man. I'm going to give Josh Hart, but Mikal Bridges, man, his brother from another mother. Because it's so ironic, man. These 2 guys have had so many ups and downs as Knicks, but they always had each other's back, all the way from Villanova. But obviously when Mikal was down, when he first arrived, it was Josh Hart that had his back and said, no, we're going to see the best of Mikal Bridges, man. You wait and see. And we're getting that right now. And also, when Hart was slumping, and when Hart wins Defensive Player of the Game, who's the guy standing next to him in that locker room with a big grin on his face? It's Mikal Bridges right now. So these 2 are absolutely rolling, man, especially with the chemistry with Brunson. I got to say, as much as I love Deuce McBride, Hart has to stay in the starting 5 right now. And I was number 1 ticket holder for Hart as the 6th man, but he has to stay right now. He's playing with so much confidence. Now, the minutes thing, that's a conversation we need to have because, we don't want it to get like last season where Hart just gets overplayed, and that's something we're going to have to work on. I still like Hart to play 25, 30 to keep him fresh for the postseason. But when he's playing this good, it is tough to try to limit those minutes, fam. Yeah, Kolek as well. We've got to hit on him. But yeah, I love Deuce starting as well, fam. Don't get me wrong. I really do like Deuce in the starting lineup. I was one of the guys that went early. I think last season I said, or maybe even the season earlier, I said Deuce McBride is a starting NBA player. And this is before kind of, he had this kind of major show out. But Deuce McBride's talent, man, he is an NBA starter in my opinion. As Shez V said in the chat, salute. He's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. And we are going to do a show breaking down the Knicks' future contracts and the timeline because when Hart's contract ends, Deuce McBride also ends. And so Leon Rose is going to have to figure out how to keep everyone. Mitchell Robinson, too, continues to be highly impactful. Look, the Raptors tonight, about them, they weren't playing with Jakob Poeltl. They're starting 5. No RJ Barrett as well. So you do got to take that with a grain of salt. But I never felt like the Raptors are a real threat. Now, credit to them, they've had an amazing start to the season, and they might have a big part to play in the postseason. But right now, I think there's a drop off between the Knicks and the Raptors. The Pistons, we're going to talk about them in a second because we haven't faced them yet. Um, but yeah, on paper, the Pistons are better than the Raptors, but obviously no Pirtle, no RJ. I can see the Raptors causing an upset if they're fully healthy. How did you guys see IQ's performance as well? Emmanuel Quickly back in New York City. He had his big game tonight as well. He willed the Raptors to stay in the ball game and made a big run, but it was not enough, right? I simply don't think the Raptors are good enough defensively. They go in and out of games. For a team with a lot of length and size, I think they're just lacking a bit more toughness. I think that the Pistons have that edge in terms of the toughness category. And you see toughness with us. Hart, obviously, Cat taking a lot of contact. Brunson, the savvy veteran that he is, as well. We're going to talk about the situational guys too. Pacome Dardier got some great highlights. He balled out in Westchester tonight, so great thing to see Pacome Dardier get some meaningful minutes. Obviously, he's not going to play too much right now with the big club rolling. Raptors are not for real yet, says Michael, and yeah, we agree on that one. IQ went hot at that time. Buzzer Beater says IQ is the only guy that I didn't want traded. Yeah, he's a great kid. Good head on his shoulders as IQ. But yeah, 30 million, I'm good. Would have liked to see him kind of stick around, but I think we made the right decision. I said last stream, fam, Deuce McBride, the way he's come along in leaps and bounds, Deuce McBride's that guy that I take over quickly. And we don't know what Deuce is going to get paid. It probably ain't going to be 30 million, but who the heck knows based on the way he's playing right now. Give me Deuce McBride because I think defensively he's more sound. Obviously, quickly he's probably slightly better on the off the dribble pull up, but Deuce McBride in terms of the catch and shoot, the way he's shooting right now, is ahead of Quickly as well. So Deuce McBride was at some point during tonight, man, he was 13 of his last 17 from downtown, and Deuce McBride is wetter than Niagara Falls right now. He's feeling it, and why wouldn't you, man? You got to be so confident playing with this group because they're going to find you when you're open, right? I think practices, let's talk about the practice element because we haven't really heard a lot of reporting from the beat, but we know that Mike Brown is emphasizing practice. These guys look a lot more organized. They do look a lot more drilled compared to last season's offense, fam. And we are, top 3, top 2, maybe even top offense in the NBA. It changes, game to game. But the New York Knicks right now, man, we're one of the best offenses in the NBA, period. Right? We might go down as one of the best offensive teams of all time in terms of the stats and the metrics. With the threes that we're putting up, the speed that we're playing at, the assist, 27 dimes tonight as well, as we're going to take a look at the stats in a minute after we've done rolling the highlights. How can you stop us? Well, you got to be overly physical. I think, look at Orlando. I think that's probably the only way you can stop the Knicks offensively right now. You got to hack the heck out of the Knicks and hope that they don't call the whistle. That's probably the best chance. On the other side, the Knicks have a lot of progress they need to make defensively, though. I think with Hart in the starting 5, we're able to play a lot faster in terms of the sharing the rock. Brunson, isn't overly, exhausted having to carry the ball up all the time, and especially if Deuce McBride is in there as well. You got 4 ball handlers with McCall, Hart, JB, and Deuce McBride right now. So, look, come back soon, OG Anunoby. But right now, guys are really, stepping up in that major way. And the streets are buzzing for real. Hitting that like button. AP's got the streets buzzing tonight too. Neymar salute. Good to see you. 4 in a row. I think Boston in Beantown is going to be a nice test, coming up in the next one. Got to give that shout out to Yabusele, right? And I'll pull up the grades first, and then we'll give out the game ball, right? Actually, we'll give out the game ball first, and obviously it's not going to be no surprise. This man finding Cat rolling to the basket, got eyes at the back of his head, does Josh Hart. Now, one of the things that was, people weren't factoring in, guys, early in the funk of this season, when everyone was kind of starting to be more concerned about our slower start, let's not forget that as these guys, new players together, some of them, they play more games together, the chemistry is going to grow. And right now, I think we're really starting to see the Knicks click into fourth gear. Right, I think we were stuck in second gear a couple of weeks ago. I think we're into the fourth gear right now, especially offensively. But you see the offense, the way it's rolling, the way guys that, they know where to cut, they know where to be. Players aren't afraid to give it up, knowing that they're going to get it back as well. I think everyone's kind of playing for each other right now, and I'm not really seeing any stagnation that we saw from last season's offense, right? We're not seeing that stagnation. That's a big credit to obviously the point guards first and foremost, but all of the guys for their unselfish play, like 27 dimes, like I said, 9 steals, 18 turnovers though, and Raptors had 17 turnovers. So this was a street ball affair tonight. Some funky play from Clarkson, I gotta say, man. He's definitely got to clean up the dribble. He gets a little too careless for my liking, but we kind of come to expect that from Jordan Clarkson. But he does have to clean that up. A lot of heat checks late in the game. One thing I will say, with this garbage time, I would like them to actually try to involve Huck Porty, Tosan, and some of these other guys and actually run some plays. Like, you're going to win the game. It's garbage time, but run a couple of plays and, try to get the ball in some of the younger guys' hand and make them feel good. I don't want to see Jordan Clarkson just hoisting threes in garbage time, right? We know he can shoot, run some plays. That's what I would like to see late in the ball game. Huck Porty as well couldn't touch it. He was running end to end, rebounding, boxing out. Couldn't even get a touch late in the game. Mohamed Diawara did get a 3 up. But yeah, I want to see them just, do something else other than jack up threes, when the game's already dead. But look at the box score tonight, man. So pretty. Brunson not efficient tonight and a little sloppy with the basketball. But with Josh Hart out there with 20 points, 7 assists, 12 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds, with 3 steals tonight as well, right? I think this will be consecutive back-to-back defensive player of the games for Josh Hart, and with the 3 steals, plus 24 right now. As we check in on the poll, we keep in the same starting 5. 33% say Hart stays for Mitch. OG will come in for Deuce. 27% though say keep Deuce in the starting 5 and put Hart as the 6th man. And that, I guess that says how flexible we are right now, guys. I still feel like playoff basketball is a wait and see because it's a different type of game, right? Defenses are going to tighten up, and how is that going to look with Josh Hart out there? We've seen that before, and it can get ugly if we're not, running coast to coast, getting stops, right? If we are grinded out half-court set, I would choose Deuce McBride. But also knowing that the playoffs are physical, length, and, is going to be key, and we are going to be a little bit small with Brunson and Deuce out there. So, obviously, I think the decision has been made that Mitchell Robinson ain't going to start no more, right? That could change when we get to the playoffs as well. Because don't forget, you don't got to deal with the travel. You don't got to deal with the back-to-backs. Once we get to the playoffs, it's days off every other day, and you can scheme and plan. But I'm also a little bit worried about the hacker Mitch. Let's not, gloss over that. Because Mitchell Robinson, man, can't hit a damn free throw. 0 of 2 today as well, right? showed me some improvement from the off season, but he still can't hit a damn free throw. Excuse the language, but he's had a lot of seasons to work on it now. We've seen flashes, and it just seems to regress. It just seems to go back, to the straight line drive. So give us your thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen. If Mitch is going to close games out, they will go to the hacker Mitch again. As Buzzer Beater says, I want Detroit as well. You and me both, fam. I can see some crazy games again, like last season. But you got Isaiah Stewart to come back as well, and Duncan Robinson has been big for them as well. We still don't know what's up with Malik Beasley dealing with the off-court issues. If the Raptors had Malik Beasley, sorry, if the Pistons had Malik Beasley as well, they're going to be tough. But they might also try to swing a major trade, right, with Lauri Markkanen and Sabonis out there. But what a crazy start, man. We could not miss. Deuce McBride feeling it, and we are a fortress at home now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're 11-1. We're 10-1 or 11-1 at home. I think the lone loss is to the Orlando Magic at home, fam. We beat the Miami Heat, obviously in one of the NBA Cup games. We edged them out of the group. They got the wild card, but the Heat, the Magic, there are going to be some physical games coming up as well in the future. But right now, we do face the Raptors in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. And this has got to give us a lot of confidence, a whole heap of confidence getting this big win today. I still want us to improve on the road. And obviously, we're going to find that out when we head to Boston, we head to Toronto. We're going to head out west later this season. But the good thing is, in case you missed it already, guys, OG Anunoby is taking 3-on-3 contact right now, and he is getting closer to a return. The club hasn't officially announced their updated schedule from the reevaluation period, but the Knicks beat have given us that update today, courtesy of Mike Brown, is that OG Anunoby now is practicing with 3-on-3 contact. And we know what comes after that, 5-on-5, and then he's straight in there. Probably on a slight minutes restriction, because we all want to see OG just stay healthy and definitely come back into the lineup and stay in that lineup, fam. Now, a little jewel for y'all, Pacome Daddier with the pack attack, right? Taking it strong to the rack tonight, balling out with Westchester. Good to see Pacome Daddier play, major minutes, because if he's not playing with the Knicks, he needs to keep playing right now. He's on the outside looking in, and we're going to find out what happens come trade period, but he's under cost control. I hope Pacome Daddier has a future as a Knick. We need size, we need length, we need some wings, but we do have bases covered right now with the rotation. Also, some of y'all asked me about Yabusele and my thoughts. I didn't give up on Yabu. I said, as he plays more games and he gets into better shape, I think Pacome Daddier, I think Yabusele will come good, right? You don't lose your skills, right? He might have been in a funk, and he does struggle defensively at times, but there's a reason why he was a hot commodity in the summer, and he can give this Knicks team a boost. He hit a three tonight, rebounded well. He does set good screens, and he is a guy that I think is going to come good at some point during the season, as we see Pacome Daddier also just pull up from downtown with this one. And the New York Knicks now 4 straight guys developing in Westchester, and it's good to see. We'll bring you the update on the defensive player of the game. Who would y'all give it to? I do think Hart's going to get it. I think Josh Hart is going to get that one. And let's pull up the game stats right now. Mikal Bridges, man. Have we seen this guy this animated, man? Right, a lot's been made about Thibodeau and the connection, the relationship those guys had. I think that definitely is playing a major key. As the guy said in the chat, my guy in the chat said that Mike Brown, giving, above the rim, I think said Mikal Bridges got that extra confidence, but he's definitely taking that extra onus to put last season in the rearview mirror and make sure that this season, he puts his best foot forward. I think leaves it all out there, and he's having an amazing season, a two-way season, right? As we see quarter by quarter, it was one-way traffic. The Raptors, to their credit, they did cut a 24-point lead down to 3, right? Things got a little bit nervous, but the Knicks were still in control. They were still getting all the looks that they wanted, all the shots that they needed to. They just went into a little, a cold streak. But they heated back up. They heated back up in a major way with the 27 assists, 66 rebounds, man, to 49. That's a domination. Holding the Raptors to below 100 as well is a credit to the defense. Despite the 18 turnovers, fam, we still won the second chance points, 22-9. And the Raptors are good at fast break points, so they got us with that one too. Colin Murray-Boyles looked like a lively young player. Scotty Barnes, I think, continues to be a little bit overrated for me. Kind of like a Trae Young in a similar mold. Like, they can have their moments, but I'm just not seeing it, right? Am I tripping? How do y'all feel about Scotty Barnes right now? I don't know his exact contract number, but man, it's high. Quickly's getting paid a lot. RJ's getting paid. Brandon Ingram's getting a huge contract. The Raptors are going to be competitive, but they're not going to compete for a championship with the current salaries, I think, on their books. Hence why we heard some RJ Barrett trade noise. Neymar says we're 10-1 at home. Salute to you. Garden home cooking, says buzzer beater. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, facts. Crowd getting into early. The Knicks actually coming out of the gate strong, giving the Knicks faithful, a lot of reasons to be loud, man, loud and proud, as we are number 2, right? We're going to take a look at the standings officially, but Deuce McBride donning the number 2. We're officially moved up to the 2nd seed right now. No updates on Shamet for y'all. I wish I did. Landry, though, we saw last game, he didn't have the sling. So he's rehabbing hard like a demon, and I do think he's going to be back at some point in the new year, whether that's late January, February, March. It will be before the playoffs, assuming he can avoid that surgery, which is the plan. Johnny Chiba says, CT, how can the front office offer Mitch incentives, free throws, health, games played in a contract when every penny is accounted for? They can't. That's why there's no contract talks. It is a tricky situation, fam. But look, Leon Rose is the best in the business in terms of, understanding a player's worth, and a player's value. And I think he's doing the right thing. Let the scenario play out and just let the league dictate what Mitch is worth. Now, the club will have their own internal worth on Mitchell Robinson on a monetary number and value. However, we don't need to show that first. Let the league dictate what Mitchell Robinson is worth, and bring this thing into free agency. Because the truth is, guys, we love Mitch and the organization loves Mitch, but there's just so many moving parts. We don't know who's going to become available in the summer, right? There might be an opportunity for a sign and trade, to make salaries work, to make a blockbuster work. There's a lot of other things in terms of health. We need to see how it plays out for the rest of the season with the health. We need to wait and see how the playoffs play out, et cetera, et cetera. So I wouldn't be coming to no agreement with Mitch right now. Just let it play out. And obviously he's going to bet on himself, as he should. He's truly dominant at what he does, right? With some, obviously some warts to his game. Gray says Pack should stay in Westchester, learn to play through contact and against NBA level D. Yeah, you truly said, you could only get better by playing, and players can really turn the corner real quick, right? What was it, just a couple of months ago that, people were giving up on Tyler Kolek? Maybe even just a couple of weeks ago, people were saying, get Kolek out of here. We need to trade him to make way for Garrison Matthews. Well, I saw Garrison Matthews last night for Indiana, man. He couldn't hit nothing. is a streaky shooter, is Garrison Matthews. So look at the production we're getting from Tyler Kolek right now, man, in a need that this roster has. So I'm glad, once again, that Leon Rose has clutched onto his pearls and, didn't make sure that, he traded no one, just to make way for someone. Now, luckily, Malcolm Brogdon retired and we didn't have to, force a trade. So we'll see how that plays out. But look, like I said, on the Pacome Dardier front, Kolek has just kind of turned the corner real quick. All it takes is, more opportunities, and Dardier and Diawara could be next, right? Could be next in a major way. Now let's give out these grades, right? Let's start with the bench, because I think Yabusele, 3 of 5, 4 rebounds, +6, 7 points. Is this Gershwan Yabusele's best game as a Knick? I think it is, right? As we roll the grades, Tyler Kolek, 6 points, 2 steals, 3 dimes, and 2 rebounds. 2 steals, 3 dimes, 2 rebounds, 6 points, a turnover, a foul. -3, 6 points, 2 of 6 from the field. Missed a late 3 though, but 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Is TKO. So he was solid. I think Yabusele was solid. Josh Hart will get the lone savage grade for this one. Josh Hart is absolutely on a tear right now, man. He doesn't want to go back. Right. He's tasted the good life. He doesn't want to go back, fam. He's upgraded to first class. Knicks buzz is Josh Hart, right? He's whining and dining with Clyde right now. I thought he was going to get that triple-double. It's a shame that he didn't, but for the benefit of health's sake, get out of the game. And this game was a blowout. Now, we're going to check in on the defensive player of the game too. Salute to Dermot. And Buzzabita says, hit those likes and subscribe. Appreciate y'all doing God's work right now. Hope everyone's had a blessed holiday so far. And the best is yet to come. We're checking on the poll. 32% say Hart should stay. And OG comes in for Deuce with Mitch out. Tied, though, at 32% as well. Say keep Deuce. Hart as the 6th man. And 27% say not fussed as long as we are winning. Unfortunately, Clyde's wine and dine closed down, fam. Hopefully it does open up again. I do believe it closed down. But yeah, I'm on that boat where like Hart deserves to continue starting, but also I think it gives us slight versatility on the defensive side. Now, Deuce McBride's a great defender, but I do think with the size element, right, that is a factor, and certainly rebounding, right? I mean, we've talked about rebounding so much, especially with Tibbs here, but it really is a game-changing, skill of this team because, let's say you work your socks off to get a stop against the Knicks' elite defense, and what is more backbreaking than you get a stop and then the Knick grabs the rebound, and then a second chance point, and it ends up in a Brunson 3, or a la, Dante DiVincenzo 3 from Isaiah Hartenstein kick out, same day, different co-star, and I do think Mike Brown probably favors Hart because of the size. He can switch on to a couple more guys. I mean, last game, player of the game, guards Giannis, shuts him down. Tonight is able to play on some bigger guys as well. So we're seeing the benefit, I think, of a healthy Hart. And I just think it goes to show that he was banged up last season, fam. Hart was not Hart last season. He was banged up, dealing with back injuries, abdominal strains, you name it. Broken fingers, broken hand. He's about had every single injury as a Knick, and he continues to fight through pain as well to give the other team some pain. Johnny Chiba says, CT, look how good the Knicks did with Hart in that starting lineup at his best. Why remove him? We've got the better bench now, and Mitch too. Yeah, I do want to check Hart's minutes, because that's my only caveat. That's my only hesitation, because I said the health element. If you have a healthy Hart, it's a game changing player. 34 minutes. He is the older OG on the squad. I think he's 30, going on to 31, and so I think keeping Hart's minutes below 30, in my opinion, is important. But when he continues to play this well, right, you just got to ride him as well. So, apart from Deuce, who played 35 minutes, which is ironic, those guys played more minutes than Cat, Brunson, Bridges, and everybody else. So, right, for all the talk about Tibbs overplaying Hart, well, Mike Brown is also finding a lot of ways and reasons to continue to play Hart a lot of minutes. But the difference is Mikal Bridges is just giving us so much more, man. Let's shout Mikal Bridges out coming up next, right? As the duo from Villanova are in the spotlight, fam. Right? We have wing stop, and most people think of wing stop as OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, but now we can officially include Josh Hart in the wing stop trio right now. And Mikal Bridges finished 6 of 10, 2 of 4 from downtown, with the 2 steals, the 2 blocks, 14 points, plus 17 right now. And I am going to check to see who the New York Knicks have given the defensive player of the game to. And we'll continue to shout you guys out. Doesn't look like they have announced it just yet, right? But we'll follow that closely. And filled with huge numbers in this game tonight. Cat with 22, Hart with 20, Jalen with 18, and the rest continue to roll. Deuce with 14, Mikal with 14 as well. Fam, feel good vibes in this one as the New York Knicks now move to that second spot, and we're rolling right now. We've got the Hawks Sixers game locked in. That's a ridiculous game, says Johnny Chiba. We'll take a look at that in a minute, real quick. But yeah, New York City Grey says Mikal's 2 steals, 2 blocks, 3 assists, playing on both sides is priceless right now. That extension that he took looks even better right now. We did give him his bag, but considering some of the guys overpaid around the league, I think if Mikal Bridges can play like this for the next 5 years, we're in a really good spot. So it's neck and neck on Hart starting, Deuce starting, and not fussed as long as we're winning. Now the 3-point ball continues to be the major story, I think, of the season, in my opinion. As we see Mikal get one of his steals in the cookie jar, racing out into transition. The 3-point ball, right? Now, where this game kind of changed is I think we started to settle, right? And that usually what happens is, when you're on fire and you're hitting those threes, but you do have to be, aware of controlling the pace, fam. When you have a 20 to 24 point lead, we can't be no Boston Celtics and fall in love with the 3 ball. I do think we could have done a better job of just working the defense around, making them guard, 24 seconds on the clock. You have that lead, control the pace, take the sting out of the game. And I think the Knicks have kind of failed to do that. And the Raptors ran up the score real quick. So we do have to be better at that, especially against the Pistons and the Hawks and some of these other high-powered offenses as well, fam. Now, Karl Anthony Towns as well. We had that love-hate moment in this game as well. He had the hook, the offensive push-off as well. We seem to get one of those every single game. It's frustrating, right? When are we going to get someone that's going to try to help Cat take that out of his game right now? That's another talking point as well, because we all love to see Cat dominate when he can, when he makes quick decisions and he doesn't, give away those foolish fouls on the offensive side as well. Now, I think he has got better on the defensive side in terms of cutting out the, those boneheaded, ticky-tack fouls. but he's still doing it on the offensive end too. Now, I know that he's not getting a call, so that's the tricky part. The guy has to, you know, he does have to be mindful, of bailing the other team out. Uh, G London salute says, my man, hey man, the evolution of Hart career is amazing. Talking about a late bloomer in the context of feeling good in a team, being without Jalen. Yeah, I do think that Hart's just a unique player, man, because of his size, his frame. He's built like a footballer, but he's also got soft touch and he's skilled. I do think in another world he could have been a tall point guard in another lifetime. You look at the likes of the Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball. He is kind of that mold, but he's just less skilled. You heard Stan Van Gundy the other night talk about on the call with Amazon, talking about he had Josh Hart in New Orleans and failed to play him enough, and that is one of the reasons why his coaching tenure didn't, exceed the goals. But with Hart, he was a younger guy back then. I think since he got to Portland with Dame, Josh Hart does credit Damian Lillard a lot for his time in Portland. That's one of his brothers. And obviously, I think since he came to the Knicks under Thibodeau as well, he went to another level. So, yeah, like you said, this is part of, Hart's evolution as a player. Now, he plays on instinct. He does have to cut out, a lot of those boneheaded turnovers, though, as well. But, look, we can't speak highly enough of chemistry, when you're playing with guys that you love playing with, man, it's like it takes them back to the college days, man. I mean, I know we've talked about it ad nauseum, but it really is a unique situation, man. How many championship college players form, a combo or a trio together on the same team, man? Imagine if we get Dante DiVincenzo back at some point. The chemistry is just off the chain with those guys knowing each other, but also keeping each other cool. When times are down, they keep each other in check. When times are good, they also humble each other as well with the banter on the podcast and whatnot. I do think that says a lot. Hopefully, that's the catalyst to help us get to the top and win that NBA chip with those guys. Johnny Chiba says Coach Brown. So let's hit on the coach's spotlight right now, and then we'll take a look at the standings and around the league. Shout out to everyone in the building. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It's great to have you with us. Johnny Chiba says, Coach Brown is getting a better feel for the players. He didn't know what a great shooter Deuce was and what an amazing all-round make things happen player Hart is. Hart starting five is the answer. So yeah, you're 100% on board. All aboard the Josh Hart starting train. And I think it's great for the regular season. I do have some doubts when the playoffs come, but when he's super locked in like this, I think you definitely got to stick with it. Look, Deuce McBride's a great spark off the bench that we are going to need too. And look, who knows? OG Anunoby hopefully can get back quick, but we know he likes to miss time as well. And I don't want to overplay OG. See, Coach Brown, fam. Coach Brown in the spotlight. Let's bring that up. I do think that, Coach Brown, his experience is going to be a big part, Johnny Chiba. Let's not forget when Brown got the job, one of the pros was that he's able to coach Hall of Famers. He's dealt with these tricky situations before, coaching with Steve Kerr, coaching LeBron, coaching Kobe, a lot of personalities, a lot of guys that want their opportunities, their minutes, and they want to shine right now. And I don't think enough has been said about how Mike Brown has been managing this situation. Obviously, he's come into a great situation that Tibbs, had helped mold this team as well and humble some of the egos. And I do think it's the perfect time for Mike Brown to come into this situation. It's completely different to Sacramento. It's night and day in terms of Brown coming into a situation where guys already know what the stakes are. it's championship or bust, right? And we can't let, egos and personalities get in the way of winning right now. But right now, man, he's just ticking all the boxes, is Mike Brown. He's giving some of the younger players a chance. He's got our offense firing to its maximum potential. Possibly there's, a higher level it could get to. Now, defensively, is obviously he's not a miracle worker. We do have a lot of defensive challenged players in the squad. But if you have to lean one way or the other and you need to win games, you need to tap into our offense because, it might not, it might still not be enough, but it's our best chance, in my opinion, right? If you can put up 120 on anybody, you got a chance to win any game. I don't care who you're playing against, fam. It could be the Harlem Globetrotters, fam. If you can put up 120, you give yourself a chance because the other team could have a cold shooting night. They could have an off night as well. And maybe you just need to play league average defense. And we are at league average right now. And even better, I think, after tonight's performance, fam. We hold the Raptors to just 94 points. Now, they are on a back-to-back. They are missing RJ and Jakob Poeltl. But, holding the Raptors to 94 points, man, is big time, right? In a major, major way. I do want our defense here to take a step up. And look, that might come with, as Yabusele gets more, in game shape. We can rely on him a little bit more. Tyler Kolek has improved defensively. Diawara might have a major, factor to play in this season as well. We'll see how that plays out, fam. D-Ra Salute says when, not if. Yeah, we are locked in, man. We are locked in. We're going to take a look at the standings, but we'll get some reactions from the locker room as well, post-game. And Westchester was balling out tonight too. Dink Pate, Pacome Dardier getting some major opportunities, but I mean, Hart's play tonight was just unbelievable, man. He is definitely going to break, I think, the Knicks triple-double record, fam. I don't know how many he's got to go, but he's definitely closing in on Clyde. Would have loved to see him get that opportunity to get that triple-double tonight, but he wasn't able to get it. Yes, we have quotes from Mike Brown. We have the walk-off interview with Josh Hart as well. The Knicks NBA court, man, it looks fly. It looks fly. Well, this isn't the NBA Cup. This is the City Edition court. And it's definitely nice, man. Some people are talking about the Knicks should go back to the old logo. Let us know your thoughts, fam. I like it. I like it a lot. But I'm just a sucker for our current logo, man. That's the one I grew up with, and I think it's perfect. It's a hell of a logo. The Knicks' current logo. Now, Mike Brown at the podium says he's a special player, but he's also a great human being to go with that, and a great human being to be around. So, talking about giving more confidence, right, to Josh Hart, man. Here he is with the walk-off interview with Alan Hahn. I'm not going to ring up the audio in this one, but you could see Hart, the demeanor right now. He's super locked in, and he wants to stay in that starting five. Now, we are going to take a look at the league and the New York Knicks moving up in the standings to the second seed now, right? Our concern level was growing couple of weeks back. I had it 6.5, man. It's gone all the way back down to a 5, an even 5. That's my healthy concern level, usually, during a season right now. The Knicks have answered a lot of critics with a couple of gritty wins against, not necessarily contenders, but teams that, the Knicks needed to show a lot more against, and they did, right? So you see the Cavaliers lose the narrow one, fam, to the Celtics. OT, we had the Hawks defeat the Sixers as well, man. So the Sixers, they are going to actually have to face some tough decisions around Embiid and around Paul George, too. The Timberwolves are going to get a huge win against the Spurs. We have the Lakers playing later today. The Jazz and the Rockets blew them out, right? And the Grizzlies, Kings, the Thunder continue to roll, right? So as we bring up the standings, I'm going to refresh because our New York Knicks are moving on up, fam. In the words of PM Dawn, the Knicks are moving on up, right? 13-6 now, knocking down the Toronto Raptors down to third, ahead of the Miami Heat right now. Right, a lot of Raptors and Heat fans have been talking spicy recently now, talking like the Knicks aren't scared of them, that they're not scared of the Knicks. And right now, the New York Knicks are definitely on the roll and letting everyone know, reminding everyone that we were the favorites to come out of the East, right? I said it last time, all this overreaction every season to the standings after 15 games, right? People forget the Utah Jazz were leading the West last season or 2 seasons ago after 10 games, right? Where did they finish? They finished near the bottom, right? The standings don't tell you nothing at the start of a season, right? But the Bulls were 5-0. Where are the Bulls now? They're all the way down in 10. So you can't take the Pistons and the Raptors and all that too seriously until they play some other contenders. And neither team had played the Knicks up until tonight. And the Raptors and the Knicks finally played. And we all know who's boss right now after tonight. And I do want to see them with RJ Barrett and Pirtle. And we probably are going to see them, when the NBA Cup, knockout quarterfinals rolls around, fam. So really looking forward to that matchup. But I do think the Pistons are a level above. Now the Cavaliers lose to the Celtics tonight. So the Celtics are on a mini run now, 11-9. I wonder what Brad Stevens is going to do with the Celtics, because when it comes to the Celtics, right, Brad Stevens is a great executive. He's got to be thinking like, okay, generational draft. We're probably not a contender this season at all. Tatum's going to be coming back. What do I do this season? I do think they're going to shed some contracts to save some more tax and try to lose some more ball games, right? But there's a lot of prideful veterans out there with Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and some of the remnants of last season's team, and they will want to win games. Joe Mazzulla as well. So there might be some push and pull in that war room with the Celtics, right? I do think they're more than likely to go backwards. I do think. Sixers, man. Sixers are going to be Sixers again, man. It's just like another day, same-ish. Embiid, Paul George, they're a 500 team. Can they get it together? Can they make a run, right? The younger players are good, but are they going to be good enough? I don't know, man. The Hawks, to their credit, are starting to put together a run. I think the Heat, I do think the kind of top 6, top 7 is probably going to stay what it is. I do think the Cavaliers are probably going to move up. They probably will overtake the Hawks. But who the heck knows, man? They've got to get healthy. Darius Garland, Spider, they can never put the best team together on the court. And their front office might get impatient, right? Let's not forget the Cleveland Cavaliers once upon a time had Larry Markkinen. They threw him away for peanuts, fam. Well, not for peanuts. Obviously, I think he was in that. Yeah, he was in the Donovan Mitchell trade. It was the Chicago Bulls, apologies, that gave up Larry Markkinen on the cheap. But the Cavaliers, man, I do think they might be looking at a big time move because they're floundering, they're plateauing right now. The Magic, I think they're going to be formidable. They're a good team, but What's going to happen when Paolo gets back? For 3 years straight, they've been struggling when Paolo's in the lineup. With Paolo out of the lineup, they can put together that run. So that's going to be interesting. They kind of used up all of their bullets with the Desmond Bain trade, trading 5 first-round picks. So I do think they'll be out of any Markkanen Sabonis sweepstakes. They might be able to make a smaller move. I think the Hawks could make a larger move in the way of a Trae Young, a Porzingis. They might try to sell high on him. Ricochet, those guys. Jalen Johnson, that's the future. Dyson Daniels. I think they're going to try to rally around their younger guys. We'll see what happens. They might give it one more run with Trae Young and see what happens, fam. They might even try to get it on the Giannis sweepstakes and keep a hold of him. We know the Miami Heat. If there's a big move to be made, the Miami Heat are going to be, circling like sharks. Tyler Hero, I think, is a guy they'll be willing to move off of. They've offered him in the past. And so, as APRCT, I lost it, who is our current rivals now? That's the thing, man. It's kind of like, it changes on a different day. But right now, I do think it's the Pistons, probably the Pistons, the Magic, and the Cavaliers. Right. I still got respect for the Cavaliers because we all know how good Donovan Mitchell is, man. If Donovan Mitchell, he could put a team on his back, right? It don't matter who it is. He could get the Cavaliers out of the funk, out of the mud. And I do respect the Magic now because they do know how to play bully ball, prison ball. They got a lot of length. They got a lot of depth as well. With Isaac, Bataze, those guys coming off the bench. Anthony Black. They've got depth, the Magic. I'm not scared about them. I'm not scared of their starting five. But they've got a lot of bodies. And then the Pistons, you got to give them respect as well. They've clearly got better as well. I'm not sweating the Raptors. Not really sweating the Hawks. The Miami Heat, as much as I hate to say it, I do respect them as well. I do think they could give us some problems, but I think more than likely we've got to look out for them making a trade. I think Pat Riley and co, they're going to try to make a swing, fam. So my rivals and the only teams that I'm really, truly worried about would be the Cavaliers, Magic, and Pistons. Not to be disrespectful of any of the other teams. I just don't see it right now. I just don't see it with them. Let us know your thoughts with that. AP says it, never count Pat Riley out. Yeah, Pat the Rat, they call him, man. He seizes on the opportunities. Orlando says, AP, we've got to figure them out. Yeah, early games in the season. And I think we will figure them out. I think Brunson, showed some signs last game, got them into foul trouble. See, with the Magic, they're still young, they're still hot-headed, and I think the Knicks' experience can prevail over the Magic. When I talk about them, I mean like Jalen Suggs. That guy can't stay calm in a ball game. He's either getting tossed, ejected, he's either getting into foul trouble, he's either getting into an altercation. That guy can't stay calm in a ball game. I think in the playoffs, that guy, assuming they call the whistle, that guy is a walking foul trouble when it comes to Jalen Suggs. You saw him and Cade Cunningham get into an altercation the other night. He plays with a lot of fire, just Jalen Suggs, but, I'm not worried about him too much. I think the Knicks can punish them if they're ill-disciplined. We know Brunson's the best at, the best in the business at, getting guys into tricky situations. But yeah, look, the Pistons, they had first-hand experience against the Knicks, so it would be foolish to say that the Pistons, won't be better the second time around, right? Are they going to be good enough? I doubt it. But it'd be foolish for me to say that the Pistons won't be better the second time around because they've got Cade, who's better. They've got Jalen Duren, Beef Stew, and they've got a couple of other good guys, playing good ball. Jaden Ivey, Duncan Robinson as well. But yeah, there's still so much of the season, I think, to still play out. D-Russ says, I'm only worried about Cat. Uh, this is a make or break season for the Knicks with Karl Anthony Towns, right? It's a make or break season for all Knicks organization, some Knicks players in contract years like Mitchell Robinson, all of that. But it's a make or break year for Cat in New York, right? If we, achieve what we need to achieve, Cat stays, I believe. If we don't get to where we need to this season, then yeah, there might be some major moves and decisions I think to be made. But I'm I'm right behind Cat in terms of like, he's such a talented player. We haven't had many players like him, with that talent in the past. It's just, you know, the right diet. It needs to be a steady diet, and the coach, getting the best out of Karl Anthony Towns, and some of the veterans. Every game is a referendum on Karl Anthony Towns, it seems, because he'll have an amazing quarter, then he'll give it right back, and then he wows you again, and he blows a team away, and then the next game he gives you nothing. It's a roller coaster ride, fam, with Cat right now. Uh, the best thing is that this team is not really built around Cat, and that's a good thing. We have so many other guys to carry the load. You know, that's why I think it didn't work out in Minnesota. You know, when it comes to Minnesota and Cat, it was Anthony Edwards or it was Cat or nothing. Obviously Naz Reid came along late. They had Jaden McDaniels as well, but they're not serious. Second, third, fourth threats. The Knicks are a different story, man. Different beast. Obviously, you got Brunson, who's another top dog next to Cat, but you've got a guy like a Mikal Bridges, who's an all-star level player. OG Anunoby, all NBA type caliber player when he's healthy. Josh Hart, Deuce McBride, a lot of other guys that can carry the load. And I guess that's what probably frustrates some Knicks fans as well, because they do want to see Cat like dominate, period. They want to see him dominate all the time for stretches, just like a $50 million player. But the truth is this team just ain't built around Cat. It's built around Brunson and a lot of the other wings as well, with Hart, OG, and Mikal. Um, And I think Cat just got to do better keeping his head in the game, because he could go through stretches where he's not touching the ball enough or he's not getting the shots that he wants, but he just has to stay locked in. That's how winning is done, right? You could have players, superstars that go in and out of games, but as long as they're locked in on both ends, and trying to impact winning, right? Just don't hurt the team. Don't get into silly foul trouble. Don't let the opponent get under your skin. Don't do those silly hook fouls and hurt the team. I could take a game where Cat ain't scoring, but he just needs to play cool and let the game come to him. Right now, I do also appreciate he doesn't get a good whistle, but he also needs to look at himself. And one of the reasons why he doesn't get a whistle is he complains all the time. I think we heard Breen, we heard Clyde talk about it, we've heard the coach talk about it, we've heard a lot of people talk about it. If you complain all the time, non-stop, the referees, they'll become, they'll check out, they'll become immune to, to the complaining and the whining. Now, if you just keep your head in the ball game and get serious and stay locked in, I think the referees will be more likely to help you out. If you do get mauled. As I love this steal, great read of the play from Mikal Bridges, man. Now, with this play here, you see Mikal Bridges on the shoulder of Mitchell Robinson, right? What a back, right? What a supporting cast in terms of, defensive, solidity, right? He can see Brandon Ingram turn the corner around Mitch, right? And he's waiting there to pick the pocket of that and steal the cookies, right? Now, that's the blueprint when OG comes back as well. And that's why the Knicks are a legitimate championship contender. When you can put together lineups of Mitch, OG, Mikal Bridges defensively, that is going to allow you to hang against these elite teams and get those stops. Um, AP says, I think the Pistons need more than 6 games playoffs to prove their finals contender. Yeah, I think this season might just come a little too early, but Cade is legit. He's a legit MVP candidate right now. But I do think probably next season, the season after that, I do think we'll definitely be seeing him go toe to toe with Tatum and Brunson. I think, and maybe Donovan Mitchell. Um, we'll see how that plays out. Um, Look, Tatum's still young, Brunson's still quite young, Cade and obviously Donovan Mitchell are quite young as well. So I think that's going to be the core four that's going to dominate the East for the next 5 seasons, mate. Orlando, Toronto, ATL, they might have their ups and downs, but until Paolo Banchero can really, we know Franz Wagner is legit, but I can't quite put them in that category yet because we know Donovan Mitchell is special in the playoffs. We know Brunson is special, and we know, Jason Tatum, can take his team to the championship as well. The other guys need to prove it, right? ATL, I do think they're going to end up blowing it up with Trey or retooling, and I do think that the Magic still don't have enough shooting. They've got Desmond Bain, which was a great pickup, but I still think that when Paolo Banchero is out there, fam, it's still a tricky situation. Their best chance is to beat teams up, man, like absolutely beat you up. Now, surely the Knicks have announced the defensive player of the game, so we're going to bring that up right now. And I will continue to rock in this one with the streets of buzzing. Knicks at 13-6, man. I don't care who you are. You would have signed up for that before the season began, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the New York Knicks are a little bit behind in this one, man. They still haven't updated the defensive player of the game. So what I'll do is I'll put it in the comment section like I do as soon as it's announced. But we do have some more words from Josh Hart in the locker room. And let me take a look at the Westchester Knicks to see if they can win. No, tonight they lose again to the Maine Celtics, 122-95. Right, so that's disappointing. But obviously the Celtics G League team is legit. As Jalen Johnson put up 41 points, 14 rebounds. See, that's what I mean. The Hawks need to build around him. The Hawks are definitely going to be looking at building around their young core. As London says, Markkanen will go to the Pistons. I hope not. Johnny Chiba says, are the Pistons just kicking butt on good teams? A little bit of both, a little bit of everything. So Josh Hart says, I'm extremely comfortable right now offensively. We're starting to make these reads, play off of each other's movements, and know where guys are going to be on the court. Right. So like I said earlier, fam, chemistry is growing with this team. The chemistry is growing as they play more games together under this new coach and the new system, right? Hart saying the Knicks are extremely comfortable right now. Now, Mike Brown at the podium says, giving credit to the Knicks for the job they did on the offensive glass tonight. 25 offensive rebounds with 22 second chance points. That's who we are, says Mike Brown. That's who we are. So, look, as we close in on the poll tonight, man, that is a dead sure giveaway that Josh Hart is going to stay in the starting 5, fam. As 34% say keep Deuce in the starting 5, Hart as the 6th man. 30% say Hart stays and OG replaces Deuce. And 28% say are not fussed as long as we're winning. And 8% say Mitch should start with OG, man. It's kind of crazy how things change real quick. At the start of the season, most people were thinking Mitch should start, right? But I guess we're seeing a kind of a different level Mitch, in terms of, conditioning, rhythm, all of those things. But I think that'll come together, you know, as it comes. So yeah, with that said, fam, let's wrap this one up tonight. And our New York Knicks, right, are gaining steam, right, full steam ahead, right, with Boston coming up in Beantown. And how long can this streak go, man? Before the NBA Cup quarterfinals, the Knicks could be on an 8-game winning streak, right? We do have this coming up. We've got Boston on Tuesday, Charlotte on a Wednesday, so that's back-to-back, right? So a couple of days off. 1 day off. Monday, we get out on Tuesday. We have the Utah, Orlando, and then we do have the NBA Cup quarterfinals where the Knicks will face the Raptors, fam, on the 9th too. So appreciate y'all rocking with us tonight, man. Hit that like button, subscribe, and keep it up, fam, with the buzz. And we'll see you soon. New York Knicks go. Let's get it. Big season ahead. And now we're starting to really see New York Knicks basketball in full effect, right? And I'm excited for next week, right? As we get closer to Christmas Day, we know that's going to be blazing, right? Christmas Day game, the big one, right, against Cleveland. But before that, we've got an NBA Cup to win. Hopefully get some of that prize money and hang a banner in this thing. I think this squad is super locked in now, man. The chemistry looks really high. And let's continue this ride.